Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the Environment Leaders webinar, Discovery webinar. Just swap that round. There we go. All righty. Okay, yes. So good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to today's webinar. We're delighted to have you with us. We're going to explore how we can support young people to build leadership, teamwork, and those all-important transferable life skills through a subject that truly inspires them. We're going to cover everything from the delivery journey and the support available right through to the benefits for the learners, the centres, and the wider community as well. So we'll try and keep things interactive, providing all of the polls work. So please use the chat function. Save up your questions for the Q&A section a little bit later on. And by the end of this session, we should have a clear idea of how to get started and the confidence to see how it could work in your own setting. Alrighty. On the screen in front of you, you should have a little Menti poll. So if you join at menti.com and then use the code at the top, you should be able to join and the answers will appear on the screen in front of you. Failing that, you can scan the QR code. And the question really, just while we wait for other people to join, is 3 words or phrases that describe what you hope to gain from joining us this afternoon. I will leave you in the very capable hands of Chris Martin while we do that, while we wait for your answers to trickle in. So do join. Inspiration, knowledge, connections is nice. If the Mentimeter is not working for whatever reason, do feel free to just drop the answers into the chat. They will be picked up. Really nice answers coming through. Ooh, inspiration, clearly a key, and ideas as well. Lovely. Lovely. Good. Yeah. Model of delivery, understanding, inspiration and ideas, clearly the ones that are coming up most often. As I said, hopefully you will have a pretty good idea, pretty good input for all of those things by the end. So we will get started. Oh no, that's backwards. Sorry. Let's go forwards instead. There we go. Nope. Okay, so just a quick run through the agenda. We will do a very quick introduction of the lovely guests that we have this afternoon. We'll talk obviously in much more detail about the Environment Leaders Programme, how the programme fits into your setting, the delivery journey with the Leadership Skills Foundation, the features and benefits. We have the very, very lovely Leah McClaw joining us to talk about the programme's impact at Aldersley High School. We'll open the floor to a Q&A towards the end, and then we'll discuss how you can actually get delivering right now. So a little bit about who we are then. So my name's Rob. I am the Business Development Manager with the Leadership Skills Foundation. I will pass to Caroline.
Thanks, Rob. Hi, everybody. My name's Caroline. I'm the Education Programme Manager at WWF. I've been involved with the Environment Leaders Programme from the very beginning. So excited to have you all here today. I'll pass over to Martin.
Hi there. So I'm Martin. I'm Head of Education and Families at the RSPB. It's the Royal Society of Protection of Birds. Like Caroline, been involved with the programme from the outset. So it's a really exciting part of what we're doing at the moment. I'll pass over to Leah.
Hi, so Leah McClure, Director of Science and Associate Assistant Head Teacher for Curriculum Leadership at Aldersley. I've trailblazed the Level 3 course when it was introduced and trailblazed the Level 2 last year. So been really lucky to be involved with it from the start, and I'll pass over to Kat.
Thanks, Leah. Hi, I'm Kat. I'm the Market Development Manager for the Leadership Skills Foundation. I was responsible for supporting the centres that were trailblazing both the Level 3 and Level 2 when we brought them out a couple of years ago. Thank you.
Lovely. I thought I would include a slide about who we are. I imagine that most of you know who WWF and RSPB are. So I put us as the Leadership Skills Foundation last. But Caroline, you right to give us an idea of who WWF are?
Yeah, sure. So we are the world's largest conservation charity. We work to help, people and nature thrive together, but we work across so many different other sectors, including sustainability, finance, the obvious things like conservation programs and climate change. But we work with loads of different partners through to supermarkets, the finance sector, helping everyone live a sustainable life that balances for people, the planet, and for nature. I'll pass over to Martin.
Yeah, so thanks. So the RSPB, it says they're sort of a nature conservation charity and been around for about 136 years maybe now, but been involved with education for well over 100 years of that. But a lot of what we do is about directly kind of protecting habitats. We've got about 200 nature reserves across the UK, but also work internationally under the sort of umbrella of BirdLife International to kind of protect species globally as well. I'll pass over to you, Rob.
Lovely, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I put for over 40 years in our introduction. I think you both kind of taken the cake there, take the award for for the longest running organisations. So for those of you not aware of the Leadership Skills Foundation, you might or you might be more kind of aware of us in our previous iteration of Sports Leaders, which is how we kind of operated for the breadth of that 40 years. And only recently have transitioned in the last 2 or 3 years to become the Leadership Skills Foundation. So, as I said, I think that 40-year legacy as sports leaders has kind of carried us into today. So for over 40 years, teachers have used and trusted our approach to developing and recognising leadership skills in young people. So each of our awards and qualifications is designed with the learner at the heart of what we do to support them to develop the kind of the core skills through practical leadership opportunities that make a real world impact, hence the Environment Leaders course. So that's kind of why we're here. So just to talk very kind of as a sort of an overview of the Environment Leaders Programme before we kind of dive into the nitty gritty, on the absolute face of it, this really is for organisations, and I'm using organisations as a very broad term. So schools, kind of communities, anyone really kind of working with young people in that kind of formal setting, to support young people who want to step up as confident climate conscious leaders. That's quite difficult to say. Confident climate conscious leaders. So as I said, we as the Leadership Skills Foundation have partnered with WWF and RSPB to create the Environment Leaders Programme. And it gives the sort of accredited leadership and green skill development. And as I said, I think we are, as the Leadership Skills Foundation, we are the awarding body. We are Ofqual regulated. And I think that accreditation ensures that we're providing programs that are of a very high standard and that are recognised nationwide. So as the awarding body, we have to uphold really rigorous standards for teaching and assessment, and we report regularly to Ofqual. So it's a real kind of mark of trust that you know that all of our programs meet that standard. So that's a little bit of a kind of a background to that. And as I said, it blends those kind of nationally recognised qualifications with youth-led environmental action. So in essence, the Environment Leaders Programme gets it kind of helps centres, schools, organisations working with young people to deliver that real world impact while empowering young people to kind of take action for a more sustainable future. So this is a kind of a little bit more in depth about the pathway for the environment leaders. Now, I use pathway here loosely, just because there is a level 2. It doesn't mean that you have to start with a level 2. You can absolutely jump right into a level 3. The level 2 is obviously there for the slightly younger age group, if that's something that you're looking for. So I want to caveat that kind of first. And I should say as well that the Scottish Credit and Qualifications Framework is italicized here. So when it says level 2, level 5, obviously the level 2 is the English framework, the level 5 is the Scottish framework. This is also obviously available in Wales, but only in English, and it references the RQF framework. So just as a sort of a heads up to any centres that might be attending from Wales. So in a nutshell, the level 2 is available for ages 12, or suitable rather for ages 12 plus, in England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland, and Wales. But I forgot to put it on the slide. The total qualification time, that's that TQT. So total qualification time in hours, 32 hours. That comprises both taught elements and a level of independent learning as well. And the qualification purpose for the level 2 is to build essential leadership skills through leading purposeful activities that engage others within the organisation. We'll go into a little bit more about what that means in a second. There aren't any UCAS points attributed to that because it is a level 2. The level 3, which is the kind of the step up from that, obviously suitable for ages 16 plus. It's got a little bit more of a beefy total qualification time, so you're looking more towards the kind of 50 hours. Again, there is a large proportion of that is independent learning for the students as well. That total qualification time does not rest on you as the teacher. This is independent learning hours as well. And the qualification purpose for the level 3 is to develop the skills to plan, lead, and evaluate a project for positive change to the benefit of the natural world that aims to have a positive impact on them, their local community, and the environment. And as a kind of a little kind of spicy bonus, it does contain 8 UCAS points. So it really does have some kind of tangible kind of accreditation with it, that the students don't. This isn't just something nice to do, though it is something nice to do. But the students actually leave with something that that they can put on a CV and demonstrate that they have improved their leadership skills. They are ready to lead, and they have undertaken a project for positive change. So again, I think how it works then. Coldplay is absolutely wanting to play for me this afternoon. I apologise if you keep getting a little snippet of Coldplay. So how it works then. So learners explore local or global environmental issues and opportunities. They plan, deliver, and review practical actions or projects that make a positive impact. And they develop those really core leadership skills. So communication, teamwork, organisation, problem solving, and self-belief. So these are all those real essential skills that we expect students to pick up through their time at school, and then we wonder why they don't. I used to be a secondary school English teacher. Communication was always the one that kind of stood out for me. Obviously, things like oracy. We do very explicit teaching of that in English, but those other skills, we just kind of expect students to pick those up via osmosis. So this gives you a very tangible way of explicitly teaching and embedding those key skills. So the level 2 then, the official title for the level 2 is a qualification in leadership skills. So it is the environment leaders, but it's a qualification in leadership skills. And the focus is small scale action and supported leadership. So learners are required to lead 2 different purposeful activities which aim to positively impact the natural world prior to their certification. So for example, they might do something like organising and leading others to record the results of a garden safari, or explaining, arranging and helping a local feeder primary school to achieve an RSPB Wild Challenge Award. or applying to the Woodland Trust for their free school trees and recruiting a team to help plant them. So I think the key for the level 2 is that delivery is supported. So tutors guide the safety, the logistics, the teamwork, and the emphasis is on introducing leadership skills and reflecting on what went well. So the assessment includes a simple plan, delivery and review cycle, plus personal reflection. The level 3, as I said, is a little bit beefier than that. So this is about much larger projects and independent leadership. So learners will research issues, collect evidence and design a sustained project with very clear aims. So for example, things like rewilding a neglected space, setting up a school allotment to grow their own food, engaging with their local MP to campaign for greater climate action, those kinds of things. So kind of thinking a little bit wider. So the students take on a much greater responsibility, obviously, in the level 3 than they do in the level 2. There is a full project plan, they undertake risk assessments, they evaluate their sustainability measures, they implement their plan with peer and community involvement, and then they evaluate the impact that it has. So they measure their outcomes and goals, and then they kind of plan their next steps. As I said, there is a 8 UCAS points attached to that, which is really, really good for that kind of those next steps, again, for 16 plus. So we're thinking really good for progression to further and higher education, you know, putting this on a CV or you know, a college application would really stand in good stead. So in a nutshell, again, there's lots of information here. Both levels audit leadership skills, set personal development goals, plan and deliver environmental action, and share results. Level 2 is kind of more guided, small scale projects. It builds confidence in leading others. The level 3 is a little bit more independent, larger scale projects, and it focuses on impact, advocacy, and progression. So how the program fits into your setting. Basically, it can in any way. The nice thing about this is that there is no course start date, as it were. You know, we are not going to insist that you begin your course on X date. This is very, very flexible, and we work with you to make sure that it fits into your timetable. And you'll have a meeting with a member of the Leadership Skills Foundation to plan out your course kind of structure, and we'll discuss where it can fit in your timetable, how you're going to kind of structure the hours to make sure that by the end of it you've successfully completed the course and can accredit all of your students, certificate all of your students. So as I said, so it can be used during any dedicated subject time in biology, geography, earth sciences, land management, environmental science, or any other parallel subject. Obviously brilliant for extracurricular enrichment. So I know that there's a couple of people who have joined who are kind of overseeing their school councils. This is perfect for a school council. So in eco committees, forest schools, or any other environmentally focused group within the school, and then fully adaptable to your setting via our reasonable adjustments policy. So again, we work with a number of schools, SEND schools, pupil referral units. So again, that's a conversation we can pick up on a one-to-one basis, but we do work with schools like that. We do make reasonable adjustments for those schools. So please do not be put off if you are representing one of those settings, because we can support you to deliver it in those settings exactly. Okay. The delivery journey. In terms of how we actually get started then, we'll just do a quick run through of what the process looks like. We will talk about price later on as well. I know that's probably a key question, but we'll come to that at the end. So registration is first. That's the bit that requires contact and billing information for your organisation. Again, organisation now used very as an umbrella term. We're talking kind of school, community setting, whatever it is, so that we can reach out to you and have that maintained line of contact. Once that's all signed off and you're all signed up, you get access to all of the resources and the training. I will come back to the training in a second. I'll come back to in a second. Delivery. You can deliver it in the way that best fits your setting and your timetable, as previously mentioned, and you do have a meeting at the beginning of your journey to discuss how that is going to work. Once you deliver the course, you're certified. So once your learners have worked through the resources, they collect their certificate, you celebrate their achievement, nice and easy. And then obviously the impact at the end, you actually see the tangible differences in pupils as they put their skills to use. And as I said, I'm hoping when we talk to Leah, she can tell us a little bit more about that later on. So features and benefits. I've split these up into two different columns here. So starting with the features, again, this is a pretty special program, so developed by globally and nationally recognized organizations in the environment and education sectors. A little bit of a plug of all of our guests here, but you know, we're very lucky to work with WWF and RSPB on this. So you know, this is not your average run-of-the-mill environment course. This is bona fide, genuine. The level 3 course, as we've already outlined, offers a qualification with 8 UCAS points, so the equivalent to an EPQ. There is a focus on developing transferable skills, confidence, resilience, and mental well-being, something that I think we could all agree that our students and young people that we work with could do with a healthy dose of every now and then. An opportunity for students to engage in local environmental and community projects. And again, in terms of benefits, so it helps the school evidence your climate action plan work, which is a requirement now. Ofsted personal development intent and alignment with government skills agenda. I'm sure we're all looking forward to the curriculum review, which is coming out shortly. It sets your school apart by catering to a growing area of student interest and green careers. And it supports student wellbeing, agency and employability while opening those green career pathways. And it is fully resourced. And again, I really want to stress this. I will talk about this in more detail well, I was going to say on the next slide, but let's do it now. So what is included as part of the programme? Again, I mentioned earlier, I used to be a secondary school English teacher. The worst thing, the one hang up that I would have when I attended webinars like this would be that I had to do the planning, I had to do the resourcing. We have very much tried to give you everything that you need to walk into a classroom and deliver this. So we tried to, you know, build in those handrails so that everything is resourced, everything is there for you. As soon as you're signed up, we kind of give you the keys to the kingdom and go, there is everything that you need, and you're away. So full e-training for tutors delivering the program. This is online and accessible at any time. I said a couple of slides ago I would mention this. So one of our processes as an awarding body is that as the person delivering this, you have to undergo tutor training. It's very, very straightforward. If you are an educator already, it's, as I said, it's all online. It's accessible at any time. I did it when I joined the organisation, and I think it took me about 30 minutes. It's very, very straightforward. So this is all accessible online, and it's just to sign off and say that you can teach the course, and I'm sure everyone on the call can teach the course. So e-learning resources accessible to students and or traditional PowerPoint resources for classroom-based delivery, if that is your preference. So you have a choice over which resources you use. Downloadable and editable learner evidence records, what we refer to as LERs, that allow students to record, reflect on and evidence their learning. Again, we've tried to give you as much autonomy over those as possible. If you want to do them online and have students kind of type up their evidence via the online version, fine, not a problem at all. If you want to print them out and have them complete them by hand, again, absolutely fine. So you've got a bit of choice about how that actually works. There are additional learner resources to supplement the online learning sessions. Again, obviously working with WWF and RSPB, there are links aplenty to lots of different resources that you can access for free. So again, we try and give you everything that you need and more so that you're not left high and dry wondering what your next lesson is going to look like. We've also included promotional materials for centres to use in student recruitment and external promotion of their students' projects. So if you're sitting there now thinking, well, this sounds great, but I don't know how I would recruit students to the course, we've got you covered. So all of the kind of promotional materials that we've included in the resources are precisely to engage students in recruiting them to the course. So all of that kind of come and join the Environment Leaders programme, it's all in the resources. All you have to do is hit print and then stick them up around your school. You do have a dedicated quality assurance and relationship manager. So by no means are you going to purchase this and then we say we'll see you in August. You know, we work with you every step of the way. So you will have a relationship manager all the way through your delivery, who will touch base with you throughout the year, take any questions that you have, so that there's always someone there that you can kind of rely on if you get stuck. And as I said, towards the end of the year, once you're completing the course, you will have a quality assurance meeting booked with one of our quality assurance team, who will have a look through the LERs and just double check that everything is up to scratch, and then we can accredit your learners. Right, next up, I think we're going to come to Leah. Yes, so Leah is the, do you want to introduce yourself again, Leah? I know we introduced you at the start, but do you want to give us another introduction?
Yeah, so Leah McClure, Director of Science at Aldersley, and really lucky to have trailblazed the Level 3 course when it started, and then trailblazed the Level 2 course starting last year. So it's now my third year of delivering the Level 3 and my second for the Level 2.
Lovely, thank you. Yeah, I just had a couple of questions in regards to your motivations behind offering the Environment Leaders. What was it that made you want to deliver it from and join that Trailblazer program?
I think the first thing is as a science teacher, we very much have to teach, quite rightly, the doom and gloom, the problems. This is where the world's at. This is what we've done. I deliver a lot of assemblies, and again, it's sort of, this is the drop in the species diversity. This is where the world's going. This is climate change. It's all problems, and absolutely the kids need to hear that. But it's unfortunate we don't do an awful lot in the curriculum at the moment about solutions. And so the first reason for me, I think, was just that solution-based approach, that actually I could teach this is the problem, but then what are we doing about it? You know, how are we helping? The second thing was I really loved the autonomy. So again, I love my course, I love science, but we don't always get to give kids that choice about how they learn something. And there was such a range here. You know, if they want to go out into the garden and get their hands dirty and plant wildflowers, or as you said, work with people like the Tree Council and plant trees, then they can do that. If that's not their thing and they'd rather, you know, do an online campaign about fast fashion, then that's absolutely fine too. It gives them a real choice. And I think that's something that we often just don't get a chance to give them. And I think the last one is, I've been teaching A-level for 17 years, and personal statements are the amount I've read, and they have to be so specific. You always get that, oh, I take A-level biology, wonderful, but what else do you do? So that idea of being able to give them a really clear set of skills that don't just go, oh, I'm good at communication, yes, but what do you mean by communication? What have you improved on? That really clear set of leadership skills that it provides them, that's just, you know, that's the value of that is amazing. And then of course the 8 UCAS points. So I think the three things together, that kind of autonomy, the positivity of it, and then that ability to teach them leadership skills, was what drew me to it.
Lovely, thank you. Can I ask a little bit more about how you've actually delivered the program at Aldersley? How has that worked for you?
We delivered it in two different ways. When we trailblazed the Level 3 course, we started it sort of mid-year. As you said, there's no start date. So as that was a little bit later and the timetable was set, I actually did that online. So all of the teaching sessions I delivered online after school, and obviously the students had to be involved. And then they did the independent time, and we met at lunchtimes in school to kind of discuss how things were going and to offer them that support. I'm very lucky now that this year we have enrichment time. So for the sixth form, for the kind of 17 to 18-year-olds, it's delivered in enrichment time that they have specifically for those that kind of building their skill set time. And for year 10, so kind of I do the Level 2 course, so kind of my 14 to 15-year-olds, and we do that in form time.
Lovely. Yeah. Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, that's really nice. I hadn't even considered doing it during form time, but yeah, I imagine that's quite a nice way of doing it, approaching it. Lovely. What has been the best bit for you and your students?
Oh, that's a tough one. So I think it's just there's so many things that come to mind. It's which one to pick. So I think just watching them grow as people, just generally, from the really big things to the small things, watching them have a positive impact on the environment. So we went out and we planted trees, and we worked with the tree council to do that. And what was lovely about that was we got awarded Beacon School status. And so I put that, it was a live event, and I streamed it through to the classroom. And when we were awarded it, when our name flashed up on the screen, they just erupted. Like, they were so proud of that, and I was so proud of them for what they'd done. So getting to see exactly what I said, that solution to a problem, that they are eco-positive now, that they know they can make a difference, even if they are just a small group of students. I think that is just priceless. I think also the conversations you're able to have that I wouldn't have anywhere else. So we had a really big debate about some lovely lessons on where do you rank sort of different skills for leadership. What do you care about as a leader? And we had a really big debate in my year 10 class about, do you have to be loud? Do you have to be a really confident out there person to be a leader? And a lot of them said, well, yeah, of course you do. And I said, well, are you sure? Can you not be somebody who quietly knows what they've got to do and leads by example? We had a huge debate about it. And some of them came to see me after and went, you know what, I've never looked at it like that. And actually now I can see myself leading. And that was a real sort of emotional moment for me, that they're seeing themselves in it and they're kind of growing as people.
Yeah, that's really nice. And my next question was, what have your students thought about the programme? But I suppose that sort of answers it, really. Is there anything else to add?
Get ready for disappointment in the second year when you tell them that you're not meeting as environment leaders anymore. Because they are not happy about that. So I've had, obviously, quite understandably, I do it in year 10, and then obviously in year 11, they're taking their GCSEs in England. So we don't want them to be focused on something else. We need them to focus all their energies there. And we want them to be involved, and they are. So mine are doing mini gardens in form on Wednesday, which is wonderful. But they really were sort of, what do you mean we don't meet in, 2 form times a week? We're still environment leaders, right? And yes, you absolutely are. But yeah, they were quite disappointed by that. And same with year 12 moving into year 13, who are taking their A-levels and their vocational studies. They absolutely love it, and they have such a pride over what they're doing. It's just wonderful to see.
That's really lovely, thank you. Any top tips or advice on that you could share for people in the audience?
Yeah, I think I found it really useful when I started to have sort of a bank of ideas. So obviously when you say to the students, here is this amazing range of things you can do, a lot of them just sort of sit there and go, huh. So it's really useful to go, well, actually you could recycle batteries, you could contact an MP, you could contact the tree council. And you've mentioned a lot already, there are so many people who offer opportunities that you can feed into this, so you can kind of kill two birds with one stone and have the kids, my kids are young tree champions and environment leaders, because we worked with the tree council on that one. So there's lots of things that are useful to have, like in the bank, just a few ideas of, actually, have you thought about doing this? Or if you're somebody who's more digitally minded, did you want to do a campaign? Make it work for the school, like share that positivity. So if there are assemblies going on, or there are events like British Science Week, I have my environment leaders provide slides for them. So they spread the word as much as is humanly possible. And again, just kind of enjoy it. Obviously, anything when you start it new is kind of a daunting task, but I would not give up now. There was a suggestion this year that maybe someone else could lead environment leaders, and I was like, that's a great suggestion. However, I really like leading environment leaders, and I really wouldn't want to give up that relationship that you build with the students, and all the things I've just spoken about. So absolutely, it's a course and you have to run it, but at the same time, it's such a positive course. It's such a wonderful thing for the students to do that actually I'm quite precious about it now. So just if you're not sure about it, I'd say give it a go, because it really does have such massive benefits for the kids.
Thank you very much, Leah. That's really nice feedback to have. Thank you. Okay, questions. We will open the floor to questions to any of the panel. Does anyone have any questions? Do feel free to put your hand up, to shout out, to add any questions in the chat. Again, I think Kat is monitoring the chat. I'm just pulling the chat up now. So a question from Teresa. Website says there is a minimum a minimum. Oh, I was going to say Kat's just answered that. So the question was, website says there is a minimum fee. Is there a lower price for trialing the program in schools where SLT may need to see the evidence before committing? And then Kat's just put the answer. So the minimum spend is $450. This equates to 11 level 2 students at £44 per learner, or 9 students on a level 3. Yeah, so in terms of pricing, that is the next bit we will come on to. So we'll cover that in a second. If you're reading this as a teacher starting the course, reach out to local. Oh, sorry, I don't know whether that's a question. Yeah, good. Yeah, so RSPB National Trust Wildlife, the students we worked with did projects tracking pigs in the local heathland, creating RT projects, raising awareness of dog impacts on habitats, planting trees, and presenting ideas back to the local MP and panel of local conservation charities. That's lovely. Question from Lucy. We're an online school. Still possible to complete everything we need to qualify? Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, no worries. Any other questions? Yeah, so Kat's just said in the chat, we have an executive summary we can provide you to share with SLT outlining the benefits of the programme, as well as some examples of delivery that we can share as well. So yes, there will be a follow-up after this. Okay. Pricing, the question everyone wants to know. So, as I said, we are an educational non-profit. We make enough to keep the lights on, but really we've tried to keep the cost as low as possible for this. So the level 2 or level 5, if you're in Scotland, again, suitable for 11 years plus, excuse me, is £39 per learner until the 31st of October this year. Then there is a price rise to £44 per learner until June 2026. And then for the level 3, £63 per learner until the 31st of October, at which point it then jumps to 68. However, we have got an early bird offer on, which is £1,000 for up to 25 learners across both levels. So how you split that across the 2 levels is entirely down to you. So that's the kind of the flat rate. So currently, just as an example, if you wanted to run the level 2/level 5 qualification to 10 students and the level 3/level 6 qualification to, say, 15 students, you pay £1,335 until November the 1st, at which point the price would increase again. So this £1,000 saves you money, spreads the impact wider, and it locks in that lower rate before the prices rise, and it gives you more value for the same budget. So what we'll do is, after this webinar, probably tomorrow, by the time everything's collated, I'll send out a link to a hidden web page where you can take advantage of this. So you don't need to do anything now. I will send you a link to the hidden web page where you can sign up for this early bird offer and get it locked in before that price jumps. Okay, right. Oh, hang on. This will work, hopefully. Hey, there we go. Okay, so final question then. How can we help you get started with delivery? Again, same thing that we did at the beginning. You should be able to join at menti.com using that code, or scan the QR code and let us know your thoughts. Again, if it doesn't work, feel free to drop some comments into the chat. They will get picked up, but hopefully we can have some responses here as well. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. Yeah, so just to take a couple of these questions, is there a short, snappy rationale to persuade SMT? Yeah, don't worry. You read my mind. There absolutely will be in the follow-up. There will be a little exactly that, a rationale to share with your SLT. Course overview is assessment by portfolio of students' work. So it's through assessment of their LERs, of their learner evidence records. So they don't necessarily need to compile a portfolio. Their learner evidence record is the portfolio, as it were. Are we launching anything for primary schools? Interesting question. We do have a primary leadership program called Shape Your Skills, which coincidentally I'm running a discovery webinar next Tuesday, which I can send you the details for. Or if you check on our website, you can find the registration link to that. We are in conversation with WWF and RSPB to bring a leadership challenge kind of module to Shape Your Skills, so that we have got a bit of that crossover. So watch this space. There might be something in the pipeline in regards to a primary program eventually. There's not now, but very shortly there might be. Sample resources to view. Again, we'll send out a follow-up with a little bit with some of that, which I think is valid feedback. Any access to promo info posters to send out prior to sign up. So again, the sort of the recruitment of students to the course. I will double check whether that can be sent out prior to sign up. I think that's again valid valid feedback. Yes, Kat.
Yeah, just if you get in touch with Rob directly, he'll be able to share some of the promotional posters you can then use. That's not a problem.
Real okay. Whoa. All straightforward. I can see that there are other answers, but I can't actually. Oh, there we go. Okay, yes. Case in point, if we opt for the early bird, what I will do is turn the sound calm. I will follow up with some of these questions afterwards. I'm aware that people are pressed for time, so leave those with me. In regards to next steps, again, after this webinar into tomorrow, you will get a kind of a follow-up email with some of these things in, with a kind of a summary for your SLT. In terms of contacts and kind of how to get going, give us an email, reach out to us at elp@leadershipskillsfoundation.org, open a conversation, come through to me or Kat, we can pick up your inquiry, check out the website, all of the information is on there. In regards to additional discovery webinars that we're running as the Leadership Skills Foundation.
Sorry, Rob, the music's really loud.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah.
Hang on. Bear with.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. Here we go. Thanks, Caroline. Additional discovery webinars we've got coming up over the next 2 weeks, I believe. So again, I imagine most people on this one are probably going to be most interested in things like Lowland and STEM leaders. As I said, anyone in the audience who is primary focused, then I would recommend the Shape Your Skills Award webinar, which is taking place next Tuesday at 3:30, I think. Even if you can't make it, I would say sign up, register for them. They will be recorded. You'll get the follow-up afterwards. So sign up to as many as you fancy. That, I believe, covers everything for now. So thank you very much for giving up your time and attending and listening. And I'm sure we will hear from you very, very soon. Thank you very much. I release you to your evenings.